Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. Female voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune into the Ladies in Red.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. We're back with another one, a special show tonight to be fair. I'm absolutely buzzing to announce I've got Lee Judges joining me. Lee, it's your first time on here. Can't wait to talk to you to be fair. I feel like
first time. You've been on my channel a few times, so looking forward to it. So I don't know what sort of reception I'm going to get from the Man United fans, but we'll wait and see. I'll try and be nice to you.
To be fair, the comments so far have been really looking forward to it, saying that you're obviously well respected. And like I said, I think we're both level headed. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what.
I'll try to be fair.
We try and talk some sense. We try. Anyway.
We'll try.
We at least attempt to. But thank you so much for joining me. Obviously, I know it's Friday evening. Storms where you are. Hopefully, you're doing all right. I mean, it's been mental from what I've seen on Twitter today.
It's been mental. I've had to hold on to the act. I'll tell you today. It's been pretty bad. Like next door neighbour's fence is completely gone, but my fences are all right. So everything. So touch wood, everything's okay down my end.
Touch wood that it stays that way as well. But yeah, it's mad. But I've got to be honest, some of the clips I've seen on Twitter are like people being blown over and stuff, and they're doing like VAR checks on it and stuff like that. Like that's creased me. That did make me laugh. So you have to take some entertainment from it at least. But yeah, terrible. But obviously we're not here to talk about the weather. We're here to talk about football, and we're here to talk about that top four race. And as a United fan, I'll be honest, I'm sitting here and I'm not too confident talking about it. As an Arsenal fan, you've got to be slightly happier than I am, but I know for a fact you're not 100% happy as well. No. Some of your season so far then, like obviously for people who don't watch Arsenal, how would you summarise how it's gone so far?
I'll tell you what, our season's been mixed bag. I think there's been some really good things in there, some really poor things, and then some mediocre stuff as well. Obviously like the start we had was horrendous, to lose our first 3 games, bottom of the league after 3 games. Then we went on a good run, and then just when you thought, Arsenal are in, well, not say like back in to the groove or whatever, I just felt like, do you know what, we could do something this season. We could actually get a trophy, or we could actually get into the top 4. We lost at Liverpool, lost at Man United, and lost at Everton, and that really dented everything, really, and that put, I think, us all sort of back into expectations of what the season's going to be. But then we've picked up again, and then of course. I thought we played really well against Man City, even though we lost that game. And then, of course, January come, no goals, no wins, and no transfers, and it was a bit of a disastrous month for us. But what a good week it was for us last week, because even though we didn't play, everybody else lost around us, or drew, so everybody dropped points. Then we went to Wolves and picked up some points. So as it stands now, people are saying, well, Arsenal are the favourites. But our game in hand at the moment is Chelsea away. Our other game in hand is going to be Liverpool at home. And so when you look at it, it's important that...
It's tight.
It's tight. Manchester United have got a few points in front of us at the moment, but have played a couple of games in hand. So... it's going to be tight, I'd rather at this moment in time, if I'll be honest, be with the points in the bag. Because look at it, 2 weeks ago, so Spurs, everybody was saying were favourites because they had all the games in hand. Lost the 3 games on the spin. Now, I know you Manchester United fans will be, I don't know who you're going to be cheering for on Saturday night, being Manchester United against Spurs. That's an interesting one for you guys, because I don't care about that. I want Manchester City to nail that one. And that would then mean that if we can beat Brentford, we could be 6 points in front of Spurs, which is a big little cushion at this moment in time. So I know you'll be cheering on Brentford, but it is a big game at the weekend. I think Man United, I expect to get a result. So it's going to be tough. Have Man United had a little blip now that will bring them back into play? I don't know. That's obviously what we'll talk about in a second as well. But from Arsenal's point of view, listen, I didn't think we'd be in with a chance of top 4. If you'd have said at the beginning of the season, come February, you'll be in a chance with top 4 and favourites for it, I would have gone, all right, I'll take that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you are right. Obviously, the pressure at the moment is on Arsenal. You are the favourites, but those game in hands, like you say, on paper it looks promising, but when you actually get into it, not too promising. But I mean, in terms of United, I think the biggest thing for us is inconsistency.
Yeah.
And I don't even mean that from game to game. I mean that from half to half. One half will look quality, and the next half we just look like we can't be asked. Do you know what I mean? It's been so frustrating because you just can't predict how we're going to turn up. And I think you made a good point there. Obviously, we've got a win recently. We need to now kick on from that, a push on. And this Leeds game is a big test, isn't it? Like, regardless of our current form, the say form goes out the window in a game like that, at an round as well. It's going to be a feisty affair, and it's about what team is up for it more, and that's what worries me because I don't think we have been up for it this season, and I think that's where we've come unstuck really. Players not being up for it, and the mentality is something I've questioned a lot about this squad of players. We've got Ralph now. Ralph's obviously come in. What's your thoughts as an Arsenal fan on him coming in? Obviously, there's a lot of talk about it, a lot of talk about his pressing style, what he brings. We haven't really seen that. Like,
No.
I'm interested to see your thought looking from the outside.
Looking from the outside in, I just think Manchester United have messed it all up. Really, if I think they should have gone and got whoever they. Man United are a massive football club. They've got all the power and everything like that. Go and get the man you want and get him in now, and that's what I think that they've. There's a bit of uncertainty going around Man United. There's certain players that think, does this manager want me? Well, the next manager wants me, and I think that's for me. And the top four was before the season was started. The top four should have been sewn up, and Manchester United should have been in that group. They should be actually. With the money spent and everything like that, they should be like where Liverpool, Chelsea and Man City are, but they're not. And that's the reason that the top four is where it is now, is because Manchester United have left the door open for other teams, because I think really they've messed things up. So I think with the managerial thing, they've just got a little bit more stability into it now. I don't know, like from the outside looking in, I don't know what Man United's best team is. Is it with Ronaldo in it or whatever? Let's not going to leg off Ronaldo, because I think he's been the best player over, and to still be in the Premier League doing what he's doing at 37 is unbelievable. But what that has stopped is Man United being a pressing side. You can get at Man United a little bit easier than probably you could have done if there was somebody else in there. I don't know, but when it comes to scoring goals, he's still up there. So
mad, isn't it?
I just think that Man United. I think that once they get the manager, I don't know who that is, whether it is Pochettino. Let's just say it is, because I think that's the one they went for. Once they get Pochettino, and then they can he can come in, and then that he's the man that's going to take you to where you want to go. Then the players know that, and the players get on board with that. He can bring in a couple of his own players, and it'd be interesting to see where Manchester United go from there. So from an Arsenal point of view, Man United are vulnerable at the moment. So get in there quick and take advantage of it. And that's why I think it's a little bit more pressure on Arsenal now to do well, because I think that come next season, it's going to be even tougher to get in the top four, not only with Man United going back to where they should be. You've got this team from the northeast will be coming up like a train as well now, with all the money they're going to spend. So it's going to be a real interesting season next year. But ultimately, Arsenal have a chance just to, I think, just get through the door, which Man United have left ajar. So it's a strange, all I know is from Man United, listen, I don't feel sorry for Man United fans, because I've had they've ruined many a day for me. But it must be tough for you guys knowing that what Man City are doing, your neighbours are doing it with what they've got and everything. And I just think that puts a little bit more pressure on Manchester United, board, manager, players, a little bit more. And of course, what's going to happen with Pogba? I think, me personally, when I watch him, I think he's a fantastic player. But Man United supporters that I talk to are all that 50-50 on him. He's going to leave and all that, at the end of the season or whatever. That leaves with a little bit of uncertainty as well. So I think that Man United have got their problems, and I think Ralph's coming. He's definitely steadied the ship, Soph. I'll give him that. He's steadied the ship.
I think he's had the impossible job though, isn't he, as well? He's come in, obviously he's got the dressing room on rest, because I think he's come in and basically put a rocket up the players which are needed. He says my way or the highway. He's got no loyalty to these players, and certain players have, I think, took thrown toys at the pram, hence all the negativity. Then he had the old Greenwood situation, players like Lingard tweeting pictures of him in West Ham shirts. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that to deal with, as well as obviously the form on the pitch, which wasn't ideal as well. So I think him coming in, probably not having as much power as what you say a full-time manager would get as well. He's kind of got one hand behind his back trying to do this job. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's been a really hard job for him to come in. And I don't blame Ralph at all for our form at the moment.
No, I don't think you should look at him from that point of view. I think the players have got to take a bit of responsibility. I look at certain players like Jesse Lingard. You know what I mean? If he wasn't going to start at Man United, then after, the season that he had last season, cash in on him, and then you lose that little bit of uncertainty in the dressing room. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that he's causing trouble in there, but there'll be people that are friendly with him and that going, oh, it's not fair on him. And so, sometimes you've got to be a little bit ruthless. And Manchester United over the years, under Ferguson in particular, were ruthless on those sort of things. And they're not so much now. I look at people like Maguire and Luke Shaw, form's dropped massively.
And Rashford,
unbelievable. So the three England guys have really form's gone out the window there. Wan-Bissaka was, I thought, Man United have gone for him. Oh, Arsenal should be going for him. Now I look at him and think, we dodged a bullet there. You know what I mean? He's not that bad. He's just, I don't know what's gone on there. And I think a lot of that's to do with uncertainty around the managers keep changing and everything like that. I do think there is something in that. You play football as well. If you've got a manager that likes you, you come to him. If you've got a manager that's not liking you, you're thinking, well, he ain't going to be here much longer, so I won't really give it everything, but I'll hang in here until he's gone. I just think that, no matter if they'd have come in with a manager who's going to be the manager, who'd have come in, bosh, right, this is how we're going to go, this is what we're going to do. And I think that Man United would be in a little bit better position than what they are now.
Yeah, I'd agree with that totally. I forgot about this incident. To be fair, he asked about the Martinelli yellow card. I'm sure he's a double yellow card, should I say? You spoke about this a lot. I've never seen that happen before.
Never.
And even as a United fan, I thought that's harsh. That's harsh. Like I still can't believe that he was given a red for that. I can imagine you were fuming, Lee.
I was, because, and I'll tell you why. Because of all the years that I've played and watched football, I've never seen it. I'm going to tell you this now. I'll never see it again. It will never happen again. And I've seen incidents, they put it all on Twitter, incidents that they've shown when it's never happened before. And I even go back to Man United, as we're talking about Man United. Pogba last week does a foul, gets booked for it, and then at the same time pushes the player away. That's another yellow card, but only one card given. I've never ever seen it before. Apparently the rules are that he shouldn't have been booked, but because he's been booked, they can't appeal against him. What is going on with this system at the moment? And to me, what it shows, Soph, and I'll be really honest with you here, and you might think that Arsenal being a bit petty and whatever, but it showed me that Oliver wants to send Arsenal players off. If he's not going to think, well, no benefit of doubt, he's going to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he looked to do it. He thought, I've got an opportunity to send an Arsenal player off here, bosh, and he's gone and done it. So we have to get on with it. I think Martinelli's a terrific player, and we're missing for tomorrow. We really will. So, but yeah, it only happens to Arsenal. Granit Xhaka a few years ago, got sent off for Crystal Palace player was away, brings him down, gets sent off because he's got no intentions of going. But never seen it before, never seen it after.
I've never seen it.
Yeah,
never.
So we have to just put up with it. It's one of those gripes that we have to do as an Arsenal fan. There's
been some mad decisions this season though so far. Obviously that Martinelli one, the handball that wasn't given as well for us against Middlesbrough. I know it was in the cup and we should have put the game out of reach, but some of the decisions have been baffling to me this season.
Yes, you watching that, the game. Then Ellison, I'm going to be honest with you, people will laugh at me because when Middlesbrough beat you, and everybody's going, it's great. And I said, no, I wanted Man United to win. I want Man United. I want all the top teams in that FA Cup until Spurs go out. As it happens now, Spurs would have been playing Man United away. I'd rather Tottenham be playing Man United away than Middlesbrough away. So when I actually see that, I'm thinking, how is that not handball? How is that not handball? What was it? The West Ham game on Sunday? It's what's going on? It's a definite handball, and no, that's all right. So I don't really know some of these rules now. Even with the Man United game against Brighton, I don't think that's a sending off. I think it's a yellow card. I think the player's on the cover, but VAR get involved. I can't. I must admit, VAR. The only time I enjoy it is when it goes against Spurs. In that last, when who was they playing? Southampton, and VAR intervened on their own goal. But other than that, get rid of it. Get rid of it.
It's annoying. Proper annoying, and it's getting worse. It's getting more petty, I think. With, touch players' name. It's just really is.
And it's petty, and then it's also things like decisions that you think, well, that's definitely an handball. Oh, that's like the Man Utd one against Burnley. Oh, well, VAR are going to get involved now, and they don't.
Surely,
and you think like, what's going on? Really weird.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, of course, like you're playing the FA Cup. Some games have got VAR, some haven't.
It's not fair, is it? No.
Ridiculous. If competitions, I've got to have it all the way through, or not at all. You know what I mean? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
It's just a disadvantage for the lesser teams, is it? When it should be that way. The FA Cup's all about giving a fair, equal playing field to the teams lesser to compete 100%. Against top, and it's just not doing that, is it? And big up to Devils United. That's Maze. Make sure you go and subscribe to her channel. Says hi to Soph and Lee. And we've got Strip Bear here. Said hate you both. United v Arsenal, like history babes. Thank you so much for the super chat, Strip Bear. I appreciate that. I'm Blue. Says nobody knows the rules anymore. Even a handball is allowed now. Nobody does know the rules anymore, and I think that's the issue, isn't it? It's the rules. That's what they're always referring to, the rules. Obviously, we're watching it as a fan and we're saying, look, that's played handball, and then they're saying, oh no, but it's accidental, or it's hit another part of the body first, or handball's handball, in my opinion. Like, if it's the other way around, if a defender does that, if a striker does that, 9 times out of 10, the advantage is given, or if a defender does it, a penalty is given. Like,
and that's the other thing about it, if he's as an Arsenal, or as a fan that goes to games as well, is it's like I'll take, because it's probably relevant. The Aubameyang one at Old Trafford a couple of seasons ago. Like the moment's gone when you celebrate. Like
the emotion's taken out of it.
The emotion of this, is gone. It's not the same. You know what I mean? Like if you score, you give it to the away to the home fans or whatever. But that one, it's just jumping up and down. It was just really weird. So I don't know. It's here to stay. We've got to get used to it. But if someone says to me, "Has it improved the game?" Nowhere near.
No, it's definitely not for me. Like I say, taking that raw emotion out of it as well as a fan, and as a player as well, it must be proper frustrating as well. Like scoring a goal and having to wait, like sometimes up to 7 minutes, sometimes for checks and stuff. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But we move on. But like VAR, the offside, the red card against Martinelli against Wolves, you still obviously managed to get a win there. That is a massive result. Going to Molineux, we know too well, is not an easy place to go. So the resilience that Arsenal have shown, and they've shown it time and time again this season, obviously going down to 10 men so often. Do you worry like the lack of goals for you? The lack of goals for you, like going into that top 4 race now, as you call it. Obviously, Lacazette's there.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Listen, it weren't a problem in December, as we scored like 21 goals in December. But obviously then, we didn't have all of our players in January. So I'm not really too concerned about it at the moment. But I think, I know like it's saying silly, the next 2 games will tell me everything about Arsenal, because we're going to play 2 teams like Brentford and Wolves that are going to defend. They're going to put in blocks of 4s against us, and it's going to be difficult for us to get to break the lines and everything. Like Man United struggle with it as well, if I'll be honest. You know what I mean? Like those sort of teams. Yeah. So we need to break teams down, score a few goals. Now, if we draw 0-0 and 1-0 or win 1-0 and something like that, then I think over those 2 games it's going to be a problem. But if we go through and win 2-0, 3-0, then a 2-0 win against Wolves or something, I'm going to think, well, hold on, maybe it's not. I think that what we've got to do is get goals from all over and not rely on just one person. Sometimes that can be a good thing. If you're relying on one player all the time to score your goals, then he gets injured or something. Someone else has got to step up to the plate. So if we can just spread it around nicely, I don't think it'd be a problem. But ultimately, somewhere along the line, someone's got to start banging a few goals. Like Lacazette has got to get in 5, 6, 7, 8 goals by the end of the season. Now, if I'm looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, out of the top 4 race, Harry Kane will do that. Ronaldo will do that. And then I'm thinking West Ham, maybe not. with Antonio. Certainly Wolves won't, because they're not really a goal scoring side, and Arsenal. So that's my problem, and that's the worry about top four. I think with the top four, with all of the teams, that includes Manchester United and Arsenal, have all got flaws in their makeup, which is why we're where we are. None of us are dominating getting into the top four, because there are inconsistencies with us all. So, and I think we've got. I dare say this, Arsenal have improved defensively. I can't believe it, I'm saying that, but they have.
You have to be fair.
They really have, you know what I mean? Like, and I haven't said that for a long while, so that's good news. But I think you as you're quite right, that goal scoring threat may be our downfall. Maybe.
I think for us, it's like we have been creating the chances. We just ain't been putting them away. And even players like Ronaldo, do you know what I mean? And you feel like surely there comes a time when we do click and you put those chances away because of the quality of play we've got. But when that day's coming, who knows? Even against Brighton, we had many chances. Got the second one obviously very late on, but it wasn't convincing. Like I say, it's good. And to be fair, it's business end of the season. It's all about the results, isn't it? Like I don't mind if we play poorly as long as we scrape through.
Well,
but I just wasn't convinced, and I haven't been convinced by us for a long, long time now.
Exactly. But listen, like, you beating Brighton 2-0.
Brighton are doing good as well. Let's not forget they're decent this season.
Could have gone the other way. But it didn't. So that's a massive 3 points. You know what I mean? Listen, I'll take 1-0s and 2-0 wins all season long now. You know what I mean? Yeah. It is funny, like, that this time of the season, like beginning of the season, you see 3 or 4-0s and things like that. Now everybody tightens up and the pressure starts going. Like, there's a lot more 1-0s, a lot more cagey games from February onwards, because pressure's on. Yeah. And you know, like, all of a sudden, you know, it's like when we played Wolves, it's a real funny thing with Arsenal fans, man. When we was playing Wolves, going into the game, people go, "Oh, this is a tough game, dodgy. I'll take a 1-0 win now." And then when we come out with the 1-0 win, people are criticising the performance, and we didn't really play this and do that. Like, so you can't have it both. If you want to, you know,
a win's a win.
10 1-0 boring 1-0s now, and that would be, you know, like 30 points, and that'd be nearly enough to get your top four. So it's a difficult one, and getting that balance right, I suppose, from like getting the performances right and the results.
Yeah, definitely. Abel's asked a good question. Thank you for the super chat. He says, Treble versus Invincibles, who would you choose, Sophie and Lee? So I'll let you start with that one, because I'm sure you've answered this one before. But
listen,
go on.
I'm going
to tough one. That
to win the treble is unbelievable. Can't knock it. But Man United had a little bit of luck along the way, as did Arsenal, to win it. They're both unique in their own sort of way. If I want to say what was the better team, I think the Invincibles were a better team. If you're asking me what I would want, you know, 3 trophies in a season is better than 1, isn't it? In my opinion, yeah. You know what I mean? So I would take the 3 trophies over the Invincibles, but you know, that Invincibles team was.
Both teams were special, weren't they? Both teams were special. I think you have to admit that.
They were special games and special teams. That, when I look back at those games, you know, they were not only the rivalry, but they were the class in the teams was fantastic. I remember Arsenal at Highbury really playing really well against Man United, and Roy Keane nicked a couple of goals, and we ended up losing. You just think, how the hell have we lost that game? But
and Roy Keane scored.
You've got quality, you know what I mean? Like Man United had quality all over their pitch, so same as Arsenal did. So
I think it was just how balanced both teams were. Like there was numerous like star players who could pop up with that winning goal. I mean, you mentioned Roy Keane there. Do you know what I mean? It could be anybody. And then you look at our squads nowadays, and obviously, we've got Ronaldo and whatnot, but the quality of the player back then, you're not relying on a Ronaldo. Like, it could come from anybody.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it was just the quality, like you said, the quality of both sides. And to achieve that, like,
I'll be honest with you now. Ronaldo now wouldn't get into those teams. The Ronaldo now, you know what I mean? Like 37, he wouldn't get nowhere near it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing is, like, I don't think, if I really be honest with the Arsenal players, I don't think any of them would. I'm trying to think of any of them that would get into the invincible side at the moment, like, you know, or maybe a couple of them would get on the bench, but that just shows you that listen, they were quality times. I don't think you're ever going to really recreate that, you know.
No.
For me,
Football's
like,
changed as well since then.
yeah,
VAR's come in, for example. You imagine the amount of goals that have been disallowed back then.
no, that's it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure there's been a few more sending offs and things like that in those games. Listen, you know, like people say to me now, you know, Arsenal have never replaced Vieira. You know, well, he's a bit hard to replace at any stage. You know what I mean? Like, anybody ever going to replace, you know, a Cantona or someone like that?
We replaced Ronaldo with Ronaldo.
Replace Ronaldo with Ronaldo, you know, like when Harry's 37. But yeah, so there you go. So they're never going to replace those wonderful, wonderful footballers. No way.
Yeah, I think we both stand by our teams on this one. You'd say the Invincibles, and I'd say the Trebles. And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, to be fair, because both teams are special. Like you say, we had luck along the way. So did Arsenal. Obviously, got many draws along the way as well in that Invincibles run. I think it's one of them where you just appreciate both teams really. And like I say, appreciate at the minute as fans of Arsenal and United, appreciate the good times, because it seems so far off until we're going to get there again, doesn't it? So I think it's one of them. I'm Blue said, thoughts about letting your best striker leave on a free, and Arteta isn't good when you play long balls against Burnley, which is their speciality. I think that's it though, isn't it? You said you got Lacazette. I think it's a plan B for you. Like, if it's not working with Lacazette, like, you've got Nketiah, but realistically you haven't got that impact sub that you would like to have. I think that's the big issue that I see the squad depth for Arsenal going forward.
Massive problem with us, like, you know what I mean? We haven't got enough. Sometimes you can have too many, and that causes a problem, but not enough. Listen, when it comes to Aubameyang, I was a big Aubameyang fan. He wasn't doing the business, Soph. Like, he hasn't played well, you know what I mean? Like, people, so and in December when we was beating teams 4-0, 3-1, and whatever, no one was turning around and going, "Oh, get Aubameyang back in the team." So it was a difficult one. I think at the end of it, though, if you're I don't know, needing a goal with 10 minutes, 15 minutes to go, like in a game against Burnley, sort of thing. Yeah. Then you need to have someone on. But when I look at Burnley, they're a difficult nut to crack, aren't they? Like, you know what I mean? They're a difficult team to break down. Very, very well.
They always turn up against us. Always. Yeah. Keep rules as a worldie.
You know, because I think when they play the likes of Man United, Arsenal, the pressure's off them, like, you know. Even
they're a team of blockers, though, aren't they, as well?
They're going to block in there, and no one's going to be criticising them for doing that, you know. But when they play, say, a Crystal Palace or a Brentford, and they're doing that, their fans are going to get on the back of them. So I feel they probably feel a little bit more, a little bit pressure off when the likes of Man United and Arsenal or Spurs come and play against them. I do think they're saying in that. I think Spurs have got them in, I think, next week. I think Spurs will probably nick it, but I bet it won't be a foregone conclusion. It'd be a difficult game because they're
fighting, aren't they?
And
when you're playing teams in around the bottom who are fighting, I think it's unpredictable. You've seen some mad results in the Premier League over the years, and you'll continue to see that because any team has an off day, and teams like that will punish you. Because as we mentioned earlier, games are tight. There's not a bad team in the league. Do you know what I mean? So you get punished.
Every game's tough, isn't it? You know, you can't guarantee that Arsenal are going to beat Brentford tomorrow, and you're not going to guarantee that Man United are going to beat Leeds.
That's why we love the league.
Yeah, that's why I love. I think that I think that Man United will beat Leeds, I think Arsenal win, but I'm not going to put loads and loads of money on it. You know, because you just don't know. Anything can happen in these games, and all these teams now have a player that can hurt you. You know, and Leeds, by the way, have got 3 or 4, but I think that defensively, they're not as strong as what they should be in the Premier League, and I think that's when the teams will expose them. You know, like Manchester United tomorrow. So we'll have to wait and see.
We will wait and see. Last little question on Arsenal: who would you say your standout player is this season? Then, I mean, you mentioned Martinelli a bit earlier. You mentioned Saka already as well. Like, if you could choose one name this season, obviously goalkeeper as well. I think
Ramsdale's been right up there as a goalkeeper and all that, but. I'm a massive, massive Martinelli fan, but for me, Smith Rowe's done well, but Saka's is the player. You know, he is just. I've got to say, like, I know I'm biased. he's one of the best young players that I've seen for a
From a
very
neutral point of view, I can say that as well. And I think
Yeah.
especially after the Euros, you've already mentioned our 3 English players haven't really quite been at it, whether it's hangover from that or what, but he seemed to have come back stronger. And obviously we're happy to see that after what happened through the summer and whatnot. I think it's just, as an English person, you are proud of Saka, and he just seems to be getting better and better.
He's come through the ranks. I just think that he's just. I think he's just got everything going. I think he's just going to get better and better. It's the one thing that he does lack, Soph, is his finishing. But other than that, skill for. Listen, he gets the ball. He's 20 years of age, and he has 3 players around him straight away. Just watch it on TV and all that. As soon as he gets the ball, 3 players on him straight away. That just shows you how good he is. So I just think that it's just a pleasure. For me, as an Arsenal fan at the moment, I know we're not great, but we've got 3 youngsters that are very, very exciting going and watching. You know what I mean? Like Martinelli being one, obviously Smith Rowe and Saka. So even if Arsenal ain't great, it is good to say, "Oh, I'm off to watch them 3 play." And they're going to get better as well.
And the women's side.
Yeah. So right.
To be fair, I have to admit, Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, they are young, exciting talents, and you're right. I think they're getting better. The more games they play, they will improve. They're more of your long-term projects, aren't they?
The worrying thing is the 2 worrying things. One is that they drop off, like Rashford has a little bit, like when you're getting too many games and whatever, and also being poached by the likes of Man City, so they're the worry. So Arsenal have got, can't just be sitting on their roles and saying, "Oh, we've got these young kids." Blah 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 blah. They've got to start making an impact somewhere along the line. Otherwise, they're going to get frustrated and want to leave. So that is a big worry. And same with Man United. Man United play. If Man United continue not to get into the top 4 and things like that. And not challenging, players will get frustrated there as well, the young players, So that is a worry for Arsenal and Man United going forward. But Man United do seem to pump in a little bit more money than Arsenal. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But that's an interesting. That's a debate for another couple of years anyway. Let me enjoy.
That is. You're looking at positives at Arsenal, like that they have to be your positives. The fact that you've improved. Do you know what I mean? It is something to look forward to, isn't it? But going back to this season, obviously the title of the show is the top 4 debate, the race for the top 4, the fight for the top 4, because it is going to be an absolute scrap to get it. We've already said how tight it's going to be. As an Arsenal fan, do you genuinely believe that Arsenal will finish top 4, or do you think that another team is going to nick it? Because I'll be honest, as a United fan, hand on heart, I'm not confident we're going to do it, because I'm not confident we can go on a run of games, and I think it is now going on that run of games. However, when I look at the squad that we've got and the quality of the squad that we've got, there's no excuses. Like we should be able to do that, and hopefully this win against Brighton in the week can now put us in good stead, because it's been negative. I mentioned obviously the Greenwood stuff as well, not even just on the pitch, off the pitch, it's been negative for United, and I'm hoping now we can kind of turn a corner and get through that bad patch, but it's going to be an absolute slog. So as a United fan, I can say hand on heart, I'm not confident, but we should get it. Do you know what I mean? But I can't trust this group of players basically, week in, week out. Yeah,
see, from the outside, I would say Man United are still fights because of what you just said, their players and everything like that. I'm going to be really honest. If I don't know if Arsenal are going to get it yet, because you just don't know what Arsenal's going to turn up. But I can. If
West Ham as well.
Yeah, West Ham. Never not to be written off it. But I'm going to say this now: if Arsenal beat Brentford, then they beat Wolves, then they beat Watford, and then they beat Leicester, I think that there's 4 games that they should win on paper. I'm not saying that they will, but should. If they get them 4 games, I think it puts us in a massive, strong position to go on and kick on and get top 4. Any drop points against them, then it opens the door for Man United and other teams. Listen, at this moment in time, if we beat Brentford, as I said earlier on, Spurs have got Man City. There could be potentially more points dropped. So when you play in these games, that when and I know you said it weren't great against Brighton, but you was expected to get the 3 points, and you did, and that's what Arsenal have got to do now in the next 4 games. So I think the next month, Soph, is important to all of the teams. I think like Man United got a couple of difficult games coming up along the way.
The Champions League as well.
And the Champions League coming up there as well, yeah. And you know, for Tottenham, they've got the FA Cup. For West Ham, they've got the FA Cup and the Europa League. So, and I'm not writing out Wolves of this situation at the moment. You know, they put themselves right back in it with that lovely little 2-0 win at White Hart Lane the other day. Now, you know, I know Manchester United won there as well. It's not an easy place to go to, so you've got to give them a little bit of credit. So, I think that, as I say, like, you know, do you know what? If Arsenal are to get it, it's because they've got that little bit more stability in their back line than the others. I look at Tottenham, I don't think they've got that. I think Manchester United unless Shaw and Maguire pick up their form, you know, because if I look at it, I think that De Gea makes too many saves. Too many. I know that he's a great shot, so he makes great shots, but he's being kept too busy for a team like Man United that are on the front foot or should be on the front foot in games, you know. And I look back at when Arsenal were a little bit like that a few years ago, it comes back and bites you. So it'd be really, really, really tough. But I still think, you know, Manchester United getting that win on Tuesday has just given them a little bit of a hope. I think it'll be out of Man United and Arsenal there. I'm going to say it. Like, I think it will be out of us too.
I do agree. I think it'll be out of us too. It's like pros and cons, isn't it? Because pros, you'd say like the squad that we have got compared to Arsenal's, but then the cons is the fact that we're playing in Champions League football. Arsenal haven't got that Europe fixture. And we are, like I say, we've got Atletico, so it's a tough tie for us. It's going to be draining on our squad and certain players. You mentioned Ronaldo there. Can he do it twice in a week, playing against Atletico in the Champions League and then playing even Cavani's another one? Can he do it twice in a week? And I think it's going to be a really interesting one. I think you are right. This next month is key, and as I've already mentioned, I think it's about which team can actually get a consistent run now and go on a run of games, because we haven't seen that. And I think we're both lucky in a sense that to still be in a chance with top four, considering the form that we've had this season. You mentioned you being bottom of the table at the start of the season, the amount of points that we've been dropping of late as well, and to still be in contention for that top four. I think it says a lot about the teams around us as well, also dropping points, also bottling it. And yeah, I do feel it'd be between us two. Wolves, I think, will be in there or thereabouts. I don't know what it is about Wolves. I just think they're strong outfit. I think if we can get Jimenez back firing the way that he was as well, definitely cannot write them off. I'm Blue said going to be a fun couple of years with Sancho and Saka and Overside when he joins United in a couple of years, like Van Persie did. I don't know why you would come to us at the minute, to be honest. I'd like to see that. I'm not going to lie. I'd like to see that. But Sancho is a good point, actually. Like, what's your thoughts on him? Because obviously he came from Dortmund. There's a lot of talk about it, a lot of hype. We were chasing him for years. He came. Obviously, it's been a bit unsettled. Never really got a run of games. It seems of lately the tide is turning a little bit, and we're starting to see that player flourish now.
Yeah, I think Sancho definitely is a good player. No two ways about that. I have to say with Sancho that I don't think the Ronaldo situation helped him out, because I think like it was all built around. I think that Man United, if I'll be honest, didn't want Ronaldo going to Man City, so they sort of said, right, we'll have him there. And I think that put Sancho out a little bit. But obviously with what's happened with Greenwood now, then there's an opportunity to come in, and he's got his chance. And if it was me as a manager now, I'd be saying, right, you've got your chance, take it. And over the last few games he has, and you know, he'll be looking at Saka, the same sort of age, and going, look at the chances that he's getting. He's week in, week out. He needs to have that sort of run at Manchester United as well. If he gets that run at Manchester United, I think he's a top player. So and one that I think that in the next couple of years we're going to see very, very good things of him, like, you know. So Sancho and Saka, so that'd be an interesting battle, that will, like, you know.
Yeah, hopefully see that for England international level. Let's say that.
Yeah, well, I think they were battling for it, weren't they? This time, I think Sancho probably had the lead at going into the Euros, but I think Saka was the go-to man after that. So it'd be really interesting, like, you know, both need good end of the seasons now to push them towards the World Cup, and for which will benefit both clubs and obviously England as well. So it'd be interesting. I think what Sancho's got to do, a little bit like Saka, is just add a few goals to his game. And if he adds a few goals to his game, then, you know, that people take note, don't you know, when you're scoring goals.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned Ronaldo as well. There, obviously his impact on Sancho's form. A lot of people were saying Ronaldo is the problem. Don't get me wrong, he's not the Ronaldo of old. Of course he isn't. But you mentioned it there, he brings goals. And football's about scoring goals. At the end of the day, we're still in with a chance of top 4 down to his goals at the start of the season. He dragged us through some of those games. So I don't believe he is the problem. I do think we have to change the way we play to suit him, but I don't think he's the problem. What's your thoughts on Ronaldo coming back to the Premier League at United?
Well, listen, I think, as I said earlier on, to be playing even at the Premier League as a forward at 37 is unbelievable. Like, for me, he is the best. When you go like the Messi Ronaldo camp, I've always been in the Ronaldo camp. I just think that he's got everything. I just think that, but I do think the Premier League as a league and the pace of it and all that probably don't suit him as much as probably if he was like in Italy or somewhere like that, where it's a little bit slower. I honestly think that he'll probably look at it and go, do you know what? If I want to keep going in my career, then the Premier League's not for me. Not Man United, the Premier League, So, and I think that maybe there could be a part in the waves at the end of the season. But I just think that you've always got to worry about him on the pitch. You know what I mean? I don't, even if he's not playing well, he is.
That presence, isn't he?
He's got that presence, and you can't take liberties. You can't take liberties, but I don't think that it helps, because I think with the way the Premier League's set up, you've got to be able to work hard and defend. It's just the way it is, you know what I mean? Like, and I think if I look at Aubameyang, that was one of his downfalls for Arsenal, was because he was asked to drag, get back, cover the fullback, do this, do that. It's difficult, and he's 32, coming on 33. Ronaldo, you're asking Ronaldo to do it at 37, so he's a machine. Let's get this right. He's been a machine. He's been absolutely outstanding. But
I'm convinced down the line it's going to come out about him being just like a robot or something, not even being human.
He's not natural, is he?
Not normal.
He's not normal. He's not normal. So, you get to a certain age of your career. Look at Messi this time. If you think it's because he's gone to PSG, he's certain. I watched him the other night. It's not the Messi that I've known for years, because unfortunately age catches up on you, and I think that he is starting to catch up on Ronaldo as well. So it'd be very, very interesting what happens in the summer. But while he's in the team, you've always got a chance of winning games, and you look at the game against Brighton, that could come back and be the best 3 points that you got. It'd be the 3 points that gets you to top 4.
Could be a turning point for us, couldn't it?
Could be a turning point. And who's the one that scored the goal? Him. So, you can't keep him down. But I think it'd be an interesting one going towards the end of the season, what happens there.
Yeah, I think this is a really good comment actually from Sonic. He said, in my honest opinion, hear me out, he isn't the problem, but he has exposed the problems that were always deep-rooted in the club, such as the lack of standards and the mentality. I've been questioning the mentality for a long time of these players, to be honest, post-Fergie, because I think the same core of players, don't get me wrong, we've had obviously movement in and out, but the same core of players have let managers down. And I think Roy Keane said it, didn't he? Like, the next group of players will throw their manager under the bus, and the next group of players. And don't get me wrong, it's not all the players and whatnot. I'm not saying that. And obviously there is a lack of, I don't know what it is, mentality, a lack of right philosophy. I don't know what it is, but since Fergie, we haven't had it. Like, we seem in absolute shambles, and it's like we go in spiral, and we just repeat the process over and over again. The next manager comes in, and the players throw them under the bus. And that's why I'm kind of grateful that Ralph came in on that short term, because he had no loyalty to these players. So certain players who maybe are the cliques in that, I'm not commenting because I don't know, obviously I'm not in the dressing rooms, but I think now certain players have got their backs up a bit, because actually they're being held accountable for some of the performances, but I think far too often it's been the manager who's been to blame for that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the other thing is, and it's the same with Arsenal, there's a lot of players that are at Man United and at Arsenal that are damn lucky to be playing for those clubs. You know what I mean? Like, that's not their fault. That's not their fault. You know what I mean? Like, they must be sitting there at times thinking, wow, I'm playing for Man United or I'm playing for Arsenal. Like, you know what I mean? And that's it because, the standard has dropped a little bit. Like, you look at Ferdinand and Bilic. You know what I mean? Like, don't matter how much you pay for Maguire. Don't matter how that them two are not as good as them two. No. So Roy Keane can say what he likes, because what a colossus of player that he was. But don't get
wrong. I'm not sitting here saying every Roy Keane comment is right, but I think in that sense, I agree with him.
But yeah, you know what I mean. Like, and he says about standards, but he was a standard bearer because he was a good player. from an outside look at Fred, I don't think he's that a bad a player, if I'll be honest. I think that, his energy works and all that, but ultimately he's, getting.
Do you think he's good enough for United though?
No, he's a squad player, isn't he, for Man United? If I'll be honest, same as the two playing at Arsenal in midfield, you know what I mean? But if you want to go on and win things and you want to challenge Manchester City and all that, they're squad players, same as McTominay. I think they're good players. Don't get me wrong, but they're not going to take you to the title. So you need something more on top of that. But you're relying on those sort of guys more and more because other players have let you down and everything like that. But ultimately, they're fortunate to be Manchester United players, as are certain players in the Arsenal team and all that, and eventually Arsenal have got rid of a few of them, that I look at and I think, how's he ever played for Arsenal? You know what I mean? But there you go. But so I think there's a little bit of that. And sometimes, if you're not quite good enough or you are, the confidence thing is a big thing, Sophie. You know what I mean? Like if you're running out on the pitch and the fans don't like you and all that, that must be a tough thing, So there's confidence as well. I think is a big thing as well.
Yeah, I think confidence is a massive thing. I think players like Rashford.
That's a great point. Someone just said there. Ronaldo, maybe his presence can intimidate players because he's so good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, I love what he's won, and he's coming into a dressing room and hasn't won anything. So
and I don't think Ronaldo is one of the most what's the word, he says what he says, and he he's not plastic.
Doesn't mince his words.
Yeah, he doesn't mince his words. So if he comes out and saying that you're lucky to be here or saying, that could be a real bad thing to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. As you say, I don't know what goes on in the dressing room, but you can see sometimes by his body language, Ronaldo, that he's not happy with certain players. Listen, Andy Cole had a tough time playing with Cantona because Cantona had that thing where he felt that he wasn't good enough, and Andy Cole only really flourished when Cantona went, which is unbelievable how good a player Cantona was. So it can happen,
Yeah, we talk about boards. Obviously, you yourself talk about the board a lot. Here we are, a brand. Football now is a business more so than anything. It's frustrating for us fans, and I totally agree with that.
Both boards have spent money, Soph. I can't
exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have both.
We can't say we haven't spent. It's just how that money's been spent. That about
Man United. I wish Arsenal's owners would have spent the sort of money that Man United owners would have had. So I get that you got the hump with them and all that, but ultimately, they spend money.
Yeah. And ultimately, the players, regardless of the players on the pitch at the minute, should be doing better than they are.
Yeah,
something like that. You know what I mean? Regardless of anything else,
I'm not going to argue with you.
Exactly. Well, Lee, thank you so much for coming on. It's been
no problem. Really enjoyed it, thanks for having us on. And I can't say good luck for the end of the season, but I hope you do all right, yeah.
May the best team finish.
May the best team get to top four.
May the best. Lee, just shout out obviously your channel for those who don't subscribe to.
Lee Judge's TV. If you want to come over there and have a bit of Arsenal stuff and all that, we do a little bit of other football stuff as well and content. So. That'd be nice, and it'd be nice to have a few Man United fans in the chat every now and then. So there you go, So yeah, there you go.
You're only saying that if you get top four, just so you can banter them. That's what you're saying that for. No, thank you, Lee. Honestly,
United fans as much as anybody, So no
we can't banter anybody at the minute as well.
No, that's exactly it. We're both
on a level playing field. Yeah, but no, obviously thank you to you, thank you to everybody in the chat. If you are new, please hit the sub button on Ladies in Red. Hopefully me and Lil will be back soon with another video, maybe recapping who did get top four. That would be quite an interesting
we'll do that.
See how wrong we were about it when West Ham finished top four and we're nowhere near. We'll
do that one as well,
Yeah, but have a lovely evening, Lee. Everyone in the chat.
You too. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
See ya.